All right. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Gotta make sure. I'm gonna try to stand up, but if not, I'm just gonna hold it. All right. Shalom. Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but their spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And shalom to the little sisters out there. I was just meditating on the on how the laws of the Most High Yahweh are basically they're perfect. Basically, they you really think about these laws, man. They make perfect sense. Like all the laws, including the dietary law. If if this devil had any type of sense, he would actually run this country according to those laws. You know, if he had any type of sense in him, or if Babylon was truly based off the Bible, like this devil likes to say, which nothing could be further from the truth, of course. But if it was, then you know the the hey man, he would run it by those laws, and he would I think there's an actual Bible verse that says it. And also something else came to my attention when I came on here. I was flagged for medical misinformation for a video that had nothing to fucking do with that. Like you look at the title of the video. Look at the title of the video, and the title of the video has nothing to do with 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 what this devil calls medical misinformation. It has nothing to do with that. But these devils somehow they were able to come to that conclusion. Like they reached for it. Like that was a like that was a reach. You know that was such a reach. That was such a reach that if Alaska Girl was the real person, then she would be impressed. Like wow, that was that much of a reach. Because these devils, man, they are pressed. They're pressed. And let me get mm, Salakia. I'm dealing with afflictions. Matter of fact, besides going into this, I might go into that as well. Since these devils, they reached that conclusion. I might go into that too. The laws of the Lord are perfect. I think that's actually a precept in the Bible. It's 4:44. I'm gonna go ahead and switch the cam. Might as well. Yeah. So I have access to the computer. I decide to do a video using the computer. And hold on, hold on. See if y'all can see it. That's the law of Yahawah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahawah is sure, making wise making wise the simple. And this is an example of that is the what you call it, for example that, all these laws, but one of them, the dietary laws, man. Like, for example, let me just pull up the dietary laws, man. Let's just go into each one of them and why they make perfect sense. Well, hold up. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up Amos 8:11, because that's exactly what's happening here. Because these devils flagged a video that had nothing to do with what they call medical misinformation, and they called it medical misinformation. That's the famine of the word. We know this is gonna go down. It was prophesied about. Just gonna the last video about the governor of California said about they want to microchip immigrants. That was flagged for medical misinformation, which it could have been the algorithm, flagging any videos that talk about microchips, videos that they want to be flagged, videos that go into the truth. But anyways, let me bring out Amos 8:11 before going into the subject at hand. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And that famine is coming because, you know why? Because they flagging our videos, they're making us offenders for words. That's Hey, you know what? Might as well, right? Since they are making us offenders for words. Um, an offender for a word. Literally for a word. An offender for a word. Isaiah 29 and 21, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snot for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside just for a thing of naught. That's what these devils are doing here. They're doing all that, lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. This is a snare to us, and turn aside to just for a thing of naught. Yeah, so they could take our videos down. They could justify it. And that's why that famine of the word is coming. That's how Esau is bringing about the famine of the word. And you Jakes, man, you hey, these devils are trying hard to censor this word. Let me see if maybe this way it can be seen easier. Let me just do this, because I'm going to read on down. Verse 12, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro, and seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it, because they taking these videos down left and right. I may even get my channel taken down soon by these damn devils. Verse 13, in that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. Yeah, Khan. You 2/3 that have rejected this truth. In that day that you're going to run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh. You know, the day of the Lord, right? Hold on, the videos. My screen was freezing up. Verse 14, they that swear by the sin of Samaria and say that God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall, never rise up again. Con. You know, because you ain't gonna have that wisdom and stability. Y'all gonna be all over the place. Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and stability shall be the strength of thy times, the strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh is his treasure. You know, without the wisdom, you ain't gonna know how to fear the Most High Yahweh. So there's that. But let me go to what I was gonna go over today. Basically, the laws. Okay, I was going over the dietary laws, for example, how they make perfect sense. Because people don't think that it makes sense. People think that these animals that we was told was unclean, how like they was just randomly chosen, when that's not the case. Leviticus 11 verse 1, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Verse 3, whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven and footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. Verse 4, nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he chewed the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Verse 3, and the coney, because he chewed the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. Verse 6, and the hare, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the swine, verse 7, though he divide the hoof and be cloved and footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. And these were basically physical, basically indicators that the animal was unclean. And I'll focus on the swine. You know, that's an example of basically how the laws, statutes, and commandments, you know, particularly speaking of the dietary laws, how they make sense. You know, no, these are not random animals that were picked just because the Israelites had to be different. Nah, you know, for example, like, um, I'm gonna show y'all, you know, what do swine eat, because swine will basically eat anything, man. Do pigs really eat anything? Yeah. If you want to produce a large amount of meat quickly, the pig was the animal for you. Most remarkably of all, they reproduce so quickly because a pig will eat anything. It means it eats unsavory things such as dead animals, rotting garbage, and even human feces. It'll eat your shit. It'll eat your shit. You know, do pigs eat naturally? Oh wait, do pigs eat their shit? The pigs eat shit, man. Pigs pigs eat shit. Will a pig eat a human alive? But it's not at all uncommon. It's a fact. Pigs eat people. In 2019, a Russian woman fell into an epileptic emergency while feeding her hogs. She was eaten alive, and her remains were found in the pen. Yeah, yeah, pigs. So pigs will eat anything, and you hear that saying, "You are what you eat," right? Well, it's true. You know, especially um, especially if the animal don't get rid of its toxins. You know, one way an animal gets rid of its toxins is by sweating. And there you go. Looked up, do pigs sweat? And there you go. Lo and behold, pigs do not sweat, but they're able to rid themselves of heat in other ways, such as via their skin and through respiration. Because an animal does not sweat does not mean, okay, that's that bullshit. But one way an animal gets rid of their sweat, of their toxins is through sweat. Yeah, yeah. Just because there's that saying, sweat like a pig, does not mean that pigs sweat. There's something else. That actually is actually derived from the iron smelting processes in which hot iron poured on sand cools and solidified with pieces resembling a soul and piglets, hence pig iron. Has nothing to do with the actual pig. Are pigs the only animal that does the sweat? Pigs do not have sweat glands to keep cool. They roll in the mud as rhinos do. Covering the mud protects pigs from sun damage and insect bites. The domesticated farm pig might be the best known, but swine species vary widely throughout the world. Yeah, they don't fucking sweat, yo. Yeah. Hey, PETA, you know, even though they a vegetarian or they vegan extremist organization, you know, the shit they saying on here is true, man. You know, this has been proven by research. Yeah. Top 10 reasons not to eat pigs. Attention shoppers, stop picking up dead babes and Wilbur's at the grocery store. Here are our top 10 reasons to keep pork off your fork and put delicious babe free alternatives on your shopping list instead. Porking you up. Part one, oh, one, because it will, you know, more than other meats. It's a fact. Ham, Salakia, my mouth got stuck. Ham, sausage, and bacon strips will go right to your hips. Eating pork products, which are loaded with artery clogging cholesterol and saturated fat, is a good way to increase your waistline and increase your chances of developing deadly diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, osteoporosis, Alzheimer's, asthma, and impotence. Research has shown that vegetarians are 50% less likely to develop heart disease and have 40% of the cancer rate of meat eaters. But you know, you eat pig, you know, definitely, man, definitely. I'm gonna get to the ones that show you why, you know, it's unclean, just unclean. Oh shit, even this. Pigs are actually okay, whatever. And forget the sayings. Oh yeah, the silly sayings one like pigs can't even sweat. That's why they bathe in water and mud to cool up. And factory farms, they're forced to live in their own shit and vomit. Even in the corpses of the other pigs, which they eat, by the way. Conditions are so filthy that at any given time more than 1/4 of pigs suffer from mange. Think of your worst case of poison ivy. Imagine having to suffer for it for the rest of your life. Yep. Oh fuck. Bacteria laden bacon. There you go. Bacteria laden bacon and harmful ham. Extremely crowded conditions, poor ventilation, and filth in factory farms cause such rampant disease in pigs that 70% of them have pneumonia by the time they're sent to the slaughterhouse. In order to keep pigs alive in conditions that would otherwise kill them and to promote unnaturally fast growth, the industry keeps pigs on a steady diet of antibiotics that we depend on to treat human illnesses. This overuse of antibiotics has led to the development of superbacteria. They already unclean. Look at the shit they eat. But now the overuse of antibiotics leads to super bacteria, antibiotic resistant bacterial strains. The ham, bacon, and sausage that you're eating may make the drugs that your doctor prescribes the next time you get sick completely ineffective. There you go. Yeah, yeah. So that's just some of the reasons why why you shouldn't why it's basically it's unhealthy for you to eat a pig. Yeah. Yeah, the body does appear to sweat out toxic materials, heavy metals, and bisphenol A, a chemical found in plastics, for instance, has been detected in the sweat. Yeah, so it's one of the methods of that's one of the methods that the body gets rid of toxins. And something else, yeah, parasites. Parasites. There are three important parasites found in pigs which pose a risk to humans who eat just raw or undercooked pork products. So I'm gonna pull up how 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 you have to cook it. It's why if it's even that's why yeah, because let me get it because there's more info on this too. Basically, like those parasites are very hard to kill. But there are three important parasites found in pigs which pose a risk to humans who ingest raw or undercooked pork products. These parasites are Trichinella spiralis, a nematode, a roundworm, Taenia solium, a tapeworm, and Toxoplasma gondii, a protozoan or single-cell organism. Yeah, they get parasites. There was actually a video that a brother had actually posted. That was large roundworms that grow in. They're the most common internal parasite of pigs. Sometimes mature roundworms can be seen in the fresh species of growing pigs. They appear as long at about 10 to 12 inches, tubular-shaped worms that are beige to creamy white in color. These parasites. Also, let me get that video where this chick poured soda on on some pork, and then you see what happened. Soda on pork chops, worms. Just pork meat. Pork meat. Just just watch the video. She's about to pour that. Hold on. Let me turn that volume. Yeah, hold on. Oh, it's disconnected. Fuck. So good you can see what's happening though. Yeah, you could kind of see it. Yeah. Some maybe have more worms than others. Esau didn't kick me out. I will call Yahawah Shem Yahweh. Alright, let me get back on here. You can see them moving around in there. That's one of them. I think this may be the video, might be the video that brother was showing. Yeah, see, you see them. That's what you're eating. That's what you're eating. You know, it's one of these parasites, roundworms, large roundworms. It might be a large roundworm. They about one. Wait, 6 to 2 inches, 6 to 12 inches, big as fuck. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Whipworms, just different parasites. Huh? Yeah. Condemnation of the large intestine of colon as slaughter is an economic loss when those are used for sausage casings. Yo, they'll use that shit for sausage casing. Pig intestines. And you have them parasites in the intestines. You have enough of them, they do that. But hey, Esau, he's gonna make as much money as he can. Nope, that one too. Intestinal worm too. Threadworm. Microscopic eggs are passed in the feces of pigs as young as 4 days of age. So, yeah, and then the pigs will eat their own shit. So they'll eat that shit and actually ingest the parasites. These kidney worms, They'll they they'll infect the pig through ingestion, skin penetration, ingestion of infected earthworms. Yep. Eggs are also passed in Europe. And it's other organs such as the lungs and spleen. These parasites travel through the body of the pig. Yeah. Let me get something else. So I think that I'll show you. Ah, alarmism. That's what Esau uses that term whenever he don't want you to basically care about something. Oh, basically Esau is telling you it's not a big deal. Don't worry. Just cooking pork kill all parasites. That's a better one. Okay, using a meat. This is using meat thermometer to ensure that the meat is thoroughly cooked, so I can get a good view of it. Freezing pork that is less than 6 inches thick for 3 weeks will kill parasites. However, trichinella parasites of all animal meat are not killed by freezing, even over a long time. And you know the pig will eat anything, so it's like they'll have that shit too. Though pork, can you get parasites from cooked pork? Though pork borne parasites commonly in developed countries, pork should, well, according to Esau, pork should always be eaten when well cooked all the way through, because they are fucking strong. Like these parasites that they have in them, they're resilient. Curing, salting, drying, smoking, or microwaving meat alone does not kill infected worms. Homemade jerky and sausage were the cause of many cases of tri- trichinosis reported to CDC in recent years. What temperature, the actual temperature that kills a trichinosis parasite is 137, which happens to be medium rare, but be warned every iota of meat must hit that temperature to kill the parasite. Oh, this is about bear meat, which bear is also unclean, and cooking bear meats and medium rare isn't a guarantee of that. It's in a pig as well. Uh, Esau put out some shit to make you think that basically it's alright. Basically, it's alright to go off. Oh, it's not that bad. These devils. It's like they do with everything else they want you to consume. Yeah, pork can't be pink in the middle. Yeah, there's other sources that say it can be. No, it's something different. toxins left over. So the toxins left over from these parasites. Yeah, trichinosis is a disease caused by parasitic worm larvae found in the muscles of pigs and wild game. The animals pick up the worms from rooting the ground. The worms lay their eggs within animals' muscle tissue. The larvae form cysts around themselves to protect them until they decide to hatch in order to break the cyst and kill the larvae. Must be heated to very high internal temperature, cold to very low temperature. For a long period of time, this is why your grandparents cooked very dry and edible pork chops. You might have heard the term certified pork. Certified pork is in deep freezer for a specific long time in order to kill any trick and other spirals larvae the meat might contain. Yeah. Whatever. So, yeah, it's them type of sites where anyone can basically answer. Like, yeah. Microwave cooking may not kill parasites. It's like and they're saying organic meat, but that's just that's any type. Yeah, yeah. A pig is a scavenger and not meant for human consumption. Yeah, they'll eat anything. Like I pulled up before, pigs are rather dirty animals. They're considered the garbage and waste eliminators of the farm, often eating anything, literally eating anything they can find. This includes not only bugs, insects, and whatever leftover scraps they can find laying around, but also their own shit, as well as the dead carcasses of sick animals, including their own young, even people. At least one farmer has gone out to feed his pigs, and never returned. On that morning in 2012, it literally became the pig's breakfast. That's yeah, a farmer was eaten by hungry hogs. Yep. He became the meal instead. Yeah, he stepped by on one of them. Yeah, one of them was aggressive because they know they could eat. They know they could eat people. Just knowing what a pig's diet is like can explain why the meat of a pig can be so dirty, or at the very least not so appetizing to consume. Because pork ain't even all that good. And while being grossed out maybe not may or may not be a valid reason to not to eat something, it's vital to understand a bit more about pork before reaching your own conclusion. Let's talk about this popular yet seriously questionable protein source. The digestive system problems with pork. Pig's problematic digestive system. There are many reasons that the meat of the pig becomes more saturated with toxins than many of its counterfeit farm animals. The first reason has to do with the digestive system of a pig. A pig digests whatever it eats rather quickly in about to 4 hours. On the other hand, a cow takes good 24 hours to digest what's eaten. And a cow, will spit out the grass that it eats, and chew the cud and then swallow back up. It will process it even better. During the digestive process, animals, including humans, get rid of excessive toxins as well as other components of the food eaten that could be dangerous to health. Since the pig's digestive system operates rather basically, many of these toxins remain in its system, Salakia, to be stored in its more than adequate fatty tissues ready for all consumption. Although issue with the pig, another issue with the pig is that it has very few functional sweat glands and can barely sweat at all. So that's another way. One way of getting rid of it of toxins is through its digestive process, and it don't got a good system when it comes to that. But this is another way. Sweat glands are a tool the body uses to be rid of toxins. This leaves more toxins in the pig's body. When you consume pork meat, you too get all these toxins that weren't eliminated from the pig. None of us needs more toxins in our system. In fact, we should all do what we can to eliminate and cut down on toxin exposure. One way to do this is by choosing what you eat carefully, and for me, that definitely includes completely avoiding pork products of any kind. And they'll put pork derivatives and products you don't even think would have that shit. Like cheese, for example. You wouldn't think of cheese as having to do anything with pork, right? Yet there's pork rennet, porcine derived rennet. Rennet is made from the intestines of the enzymes that come from the intestines of an animal, man. So porcine rennet come from the intestines of pigs. You know, they'll use trickery and shit. Have they'll label some shit a certain way so they can include pork in it. And hey, some about that. Why does Esau have to hide pork and shit if it's all right to eat? Think about that. All right, to increase cancer risk from bacon and other processed pork. Kind of like what that other article that by Peter that I was going into kind of brought this up as well. According to the World Health Organization, processed meat like ham, bacon, and sausage causes cancer. The International Agency for Research on Cancer actually classifies processed meat as a carcinogen, something that causes cancer. Researchers found that consuming 50 grams of processed meat each day raises your risk of colorectal cancer by a very significant 8%. He also has a source, that actually cause cancer over time. And I believe that sausage, the word sausage, if I'm not mistaken, goes into pork as well. I believe it goes into it as well. What sausage meaning? mm, I believe it goes into that. A type of food in the form of cylindrical that the minced pork, nose pork is mentioned first, or the meat encased in the skin, typically sold raw to be grilled or fried before eating. Sausage etymology might be in there. Believe it goes into. I believe it goes into that, but let me verify it. Where they say it comes from French. Sausage from vulgar Latin sausage from sausage. Seasonal sausage from salt. Salt from Latin saltus, salted from past principle of Old Latin salare to salt from salt. What do they say going to? But that right there tell you have a lot to do with pork. Yeah. Sausage is seasoned ground pork that is often enclosed in the casing. And even the casing is, if it's made out of animal, if it's animal, it's made out of animal, not artificial. It's it's pork, man. It's pig intestine. Ground pork used for sausage can come from a variety of cuts of pork, including the shoulder, butt, and the loin. Sausage may be shoulder, butt, and loin. Sausage may be fresh smoked. There you go. Let me go back to that article. Yeah, the researchers found that consuming 50 grams of processed meat each day raises your risk of colorectal. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I went over that. Processed meat is considered to be food items like ham, bacon, sausage, hot dogs, and some deli meats. Noticing the theme there, these are mainly pork derived food products, mainly. How much processed meat is 50 grams? That's about 4 strips of bacon. Maybe you're thinking that you can only eat 2 pieces of bacon regularly. According to this research, that would likely equate to a 9% increase of cancer likelihood. Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, and the reason why, hey, the reason why a lot of those meats, a lot of them processed meats come from pork. Think about it, is because the actual pork that's not processed, don't taste too good. With all them toxins and shit that's in it, they don't it's not too appetizing, so they have to do that shit. Also going into sausage, going into what it means, the etymology as well. They're being heavily salted. Also shows you that. Going on with the article, unfortunately, pork and processed meat is often consumed by folks following the keto diet, paleo diet, as well as the Atkins diet. For example, instead they should be using healthier meat like beef, lamb, bison, or chicken. All that's clean, all that's good to eat. Shows you, it just shit. Even science, like even science will show you. They say science debunks the Bible, whatever, but that's bullshit. Science shows you that those dietary laws are there for a reason. Hey, the third reason. Hey, y'all remember that swine flu, right? Swine flu in humans was called swine flu for a reason. The swine flu is another virus, which it could have been released by Esau into the pigs or whatever. Who knows? Who knows? But they are very susceptible. They're dirty animals. But yeah, the swine flu is another virus that has made the leap from pig to human. Influenza or flu viruses can be directly transmitted from pigs to humans, from humans to pigs, and from humans to humans. Human infection with flu viruses from pigs are most likely when humans are physically close to infected pigs. Swine influenza virus infections in humans are now being called variant virus infections in humans, quote unquote. I wonder why the authorities removed the word swine. Was it scaring people away from eating pork? Probably, yeah. You already know it. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, H1N1 and H3N2 are swine flu viruses that are endemic among pig populations in the United States, and something that the industry deals with routinely. Outbreaks can occur year-round. H1N1 has been observed in pig populations since at least 1930, while H3N2 began in the United States around 1998. Yeah, y'all remember that shit? Called a swine flu. And Esau, yeah, that was the last big scare from Esau. But Esau ain't doing as much, with that. He ain't do as much with that as he's doing today with the COVID 1984 though. But yeah, Continuing on, according to the CDC, swine flu has not been shown to be transmissible to people through eating properly handled and prepared pork. Properly prepared means cooking pork to an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is supposed to kill all viruses and other foodborne pathogens. But what if you consume pork from a pig that had influenza and wasn't cooked to that temperature guidelines? Then what? Then I would certainly wouldn't want to roll the dice to find out, because you know what, it's the food industry, it's agriculture industry, and industry going to basically it's produced for mass. It's mass produced too, mass consumption, for mass profits. It's not produced in a way that, oh, we gotta make sure that the customers are all right, as much as it is we gotta we gotta continue making those profits. They don't care as much. So and since the people that are working at these slaughterhouses and these other places, these meat processing centers, they're there for the money. They're not gonna give a fuck as much. But yeah, as long as it don't cause them to lose their job. But yeah, part four, trichinosis, trichinosis dangerous. Did you know that pigs carry a variety of parasites in their bodies and meats? Some of these parasites are difficult to kill even when cooking. That's the reason. This is the reason there's so many warnings out there about eating undercooked pork. That's why. That's why there's an overemphasis about that. One of the biggest concerns, because it's not an overemphasis, it's really it's actual, it's a big deal, it's a big deal. This is a dirty ass animal. One of the biggest concerns with eating pork meat is trichinosis or trichinellosis. This is an infection that humans get from eating uncooked pork that contains the larvae of the trichinella worm. In some countries and cultures, they actually consume pork raw, which is complete madness. That's asking to get jacked up, straight up. That's begging for it. But yeah, this worm. Some people beg to get jacked up. For example, 2/3 of our people. Yeah, this worm parasite is very commonly found in pork. When the worm, most often living in cysts in the stomach, opens through stomach acids, its larvae are released into the body of the pig. These new worms make their homes in the muscles of the pig. Next stop, the unknowing human body that consumes this infected meat flesh. Yeah, you are what you eat. Your body is made up of what you eat and what you drink. Similarly to what these worms do to the pig, they can also do to humans. So what they do, yeah, man, yeah, whatever the pig had, you're eating that shit, and you're consuming these toxins and these pesticides. Oh, Slovakia, well, maybe that as well. But these parasites as well, they gonna fuck you up just like they fuck that pig up. If you eat, depending on how much of them you consume, is still they gonna fuck you up. Yeah, if you eat undercooked or raw pork that contains the parasite, then you are also swallowing trichinella larvae encased in the cyst. It's little baby trichinellas, man. Your digestive juices dissolve the cyst, but that only unleashes a parasite into your inside. Yeah, yeah. The larvae then penetrate your small intestine where they mature into adult worms and mate. If you're at this stage of trichinosis, you may experience abdominal pain, diarrhea, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting. Yeah. And I bet, long among our people, among Jake, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as Israelites, be like under the speckled bird, looking like the other nations. Our people fucking love consuming pork products. So I bet there's a lot of cases of that trichinosis among our people too. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Approximately a week after eating, yeah, yeah, Jake, can't get enough of pork. You know, hey, especially the so-called me living in San Antonio. I know that so-called Mexicans, which are a tribe of Ishkar, you you so-called Mexicans, y'all be consuming a lot of pork products. But yeah, unfortunately, it's certain tribes that have that weakness for it more, but all Yasharala all of Yasharala got a weakness for pork. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Anyways, yeah. Approximately a week after eating the infected pork, the adult female worms now inside your body produce larvae that enter your bloodstream and eventually burrow into muscle or other tissue. It takes it further. Once this tissue invasion starts, occurs, symptoms of trichinosis include headache, high fever, general weakness, muscle pain and tenderness, pink eye conjunctivitis, sensitivity to light, and swelling of the eyelids or face. And while no one particularly wants to consume worms, trichino- trichinosis is a serious illness that you should do virtually anything to avoid. Abdominal symptoms can occur 1 to 2 days after infection, while additional symptoms usually start 2 to 8 weeks after infection. According to Mayo Clinic, the severity of symptoms typically depends on the number of larvae consumed in the infected meat. Yeah, you can actually get fucked up by this shit, all because you want to eat some pork. It's actually been hey, you wanted to eat some pork chops or some shit, or some ham, some bacon, shit, all because you ate. So you end up getting fucked up. It's actually been theorized that trichinosis is the exact cause of Mozart's rather sudden death at age 35. An American researcher theorized this after studying all the documents related, recording the days before. Hold on, I can. During, and after Mozart's death. This research, published in Archives of Internal Medicine's June 2001 issue, found that Mozart suffered many of the above listed symptoms, and he himself had recorded in his journal the consumption of pork just 44 days before his own death. Yeah, yeah, showing you, you could literally die from that shit. Fifth reason, pigs harbor common viruses and parasites. And it would be especially you tribes that getting jacked up because the law was given to our people. But yeah, pigs harbor common viruses and parasites. Pigs carry many viruses and parasites with them, whether by coming in direct contact with them through farms or by eating their meat. We put ourselves at higher risk of getting one of these painful, often debilitating diseases, not to mention putting our bodies on toxic overload. Pigs are primary carriers of Tanea solium, a tapeworm, hepatitis E virus (HIV) in developed countries, sporadic cases of HEV genotype 3 have occurred in humans after eating uncooked, undercooked pork. Porcine reproductive and respiratory symptom, aka blue ear pig disease, Nipah virus, meningovirus, viruses in the family para, Paramyxoviridae. Each of these parasites and viruses can lead to serious health problems that can last for years to come. Yes, you could really get fucked up by eating pork. You know, a lot of you jakes, y'all sick. Y'all sick and y'all don't know why. Y'all sick as fuck and y'all don't know why. I'm seeing what Menango is. What the fuck? And meningovirus infection. Shit that can fuck you up. Yeah, it actually fuck you up. 2 of 30 people in close contact with infected pigs became ill, and antibodies to meningovirus were later developed in these 2 individuals. No one else who had been exposed to the pigs seroconverted. Yo, yeah, 6 fuck you up. 2 people developed severe influenza-like illnesses with fever, drenching sweat, severe headaches, myalgia, shit, lymphadenopathy, weight loss, and non-pruritic. Okay, whatever the fuck that is, macular rest. Basically, they got fucked up. Morbidity, more morbidity and mortality. Okay. 2 of 30 people in close contact with infected pigs became ill and seroconverted. This resulted in an overall seroprevalence. Okay. Basically, can fuck you up. It's reasons why. It's reasons why you ain't supposed to eat that shit. Yeah. Factory farming and pigs, it's just more reasons. If these concerns aren't enough or you think you'll avoid them by cooking your pork very well, then you should also know about the common conditions of pork raised for consumption. Today, a whopping 97% of pigs in the United States are raised in factory farms. That means that these pigs never live a healthy life in fresh air, wide open pastures. If you're a pork eater, then you should know that it's very likely, only 3% unlikely, that you're eating the meat of a pig that spent all its time in warehouse, a crowded warehouse with no fresh air or exercise, fed a steady diet of harmful drugs keep the pig breeding as producers make pigs grow faster and fatter. These drugs often cause the pigs to become crippled under their own excessive and unnatural weight gain. Shit. They, they say they say pigs are the easiest animals to raise, and Esau don't even know how to raise them. Of course not. Hey, though, there's a precept that say the righteous man regard the life of the beast, even though you ain't even supposed to be raising them to be food. Let me get it. It shows you the righteous, the tender mercies Mercies of the wicked are cruel. Let me just get that real quick. The yeah, the wicked are cruel. So you already know it's gonna be bad condition. Yeah, Proverbs 12:10. A righteous man regard the life of his beast, but the tender mercy of the wicked are cruel. There you go. So you already know it's. You already know. Yeah. Do these sound like conditions that yield a health promoting piece of meat? Of course not. Which is why you should avoid pork and other factory farmed meats. Yeah. Pork is already bad for you the way it is. Yeah. It's estimated that 70% of factory farmed pigs. Oh yeah, drug resistant bacteria in pork chops and ground pork. Yeah. It's estimated that 70% of factory farmed pigs have pneumonia when they go to the slaughterhouse. Unsightly factory farm conditions of field and extreme overcrowding lead pigs to have an extreme likelihood for serious diseases. The conditions are so bad that the only way to keep these pigs barely alive at times is to misuse and overuse antibiotics because they fucking dirty and the factory farm is dirty as fuck too. I've talked a lot about what this does in humans. Similarly to humans, pigs are more commonly developing diseases that are resistant to antibiotics. You might like the taste of pork, which doesn't even taste that good to be honest. Coming from someone that used to fuck with that shit, but I never really fucked with that shit, even in the world. Similar, Similarly to humans, pigs are more commonly developing diseases that are resistant to antibiotics. Okay, you might like the taste of pork, but do you want to consume a pork product from a pig that had a superbacteria? The bacteria-laden pork story continues. In 2013, Consumer Report analysis of U.S. pork chops and ground pork samples found widespread 69% presence of a bacteria called Yersinia enterocolitica. This bacterium infects about 100,000 Americans a year, especially children, and can cause fever, diarrhea, and abominable pain in humans. Shit. There's just more and more reasons not to fuck with the pig, man. They hey hey even some so-called Christians. There's even some so-called Christians that follow the dietary laws, because it's obvious. It's actually obvious that these laws, they wasn't just there, just because oh Israelites got to eat different food than the heathens. Like nah, and then these random animals were chosen that you could eat, and other animals chosen to be unclean. Nah, that's not how it worked at all. Yup, the Edomites brought them here. History of pork and cultures that don't eat it. A pig is one of the oldest form of livestock worldwide. It is said to have been domesticated as early as 5000 BC. When it comes to the beginning of pork consumption in the U.S., Hernando de Soto is called the father of the American pork industry. Yup, the Edomite, Spanish speaking Edomite. In 1539, De Soto landed in Florida with 13 pigs in tow, which is a lot of reason why you northern tribes are so into eating pork. But you northern tribes are heavy into eating pork. In 1539, you so-called Latino. In 1539, De Soto landed in Florida with 13 pigs in tow, and pork consumption spread and grew from then on in America. Pigs were first commercially slaughtered in Cincinnati, which was nicknamed Porkopolis. So, yeah, these Edomites introduced it because the indigenous people of the Americas, or what is called the Americas today, it's actually, y'all, which is you so-called Native Americans and you so-called Latinos, y'all are actually, majority of you so-called Latinos, y'all are actually the Northern Kingdom. Y'all are those 10 tribes that were taken away by the Assyrians from the land, from from being the Northern Kingdom. Y'all was taken out of that land by the Assyrians. And then after y'all was taken out of that land and y'all served your captivity, y'all, hey, Second Ezra chapter 13, 40 on now, since I addressed the Northern Kingdom. Second Ezra 13, 40 to 45 talks about how you Northern Kingdom got here. Just gonna go over that real quick. That kind of has to do with it as well. Those are Second Ezra 13 and 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salamazar, the king of Assyria, Shalmaneser, right? The king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. Verse 41, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Verse 42, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. So y'all wanted to get away from the heathen so you would stop going off. Verse 43, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. Because you look where Assyria is in northern Iraq, y'all entered into that Euphrates River. It's upstream, so it's by the narrow passages of the river. And the Most High, verse 44, then showed signs for them and had still floods they were passed over. Basically, you entered into it, so y'all like sailed down. And it was kept smooth. The waters was kept smooth. But through that country, there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half in that same region is called Austria, which means never mankind dwelt, because if you when that go forth into your further country where never mankind dwelt. And that's what our sword goes into. Yeah. They dwelt there until latter time. Y'all still here, our sword. The bulk of y'all. Because all 12 tribes were scattered. So. But the bulk of y'all, the majority of y'all are here, are in the Americas, which was known as Arsarith in the Bible. Which, that's that land never mankind dwelt. It makes sense. It makes sense. Because what y'all are the indigenous. Y'all the indigenous, which means the first to live there. We get get here. Yeah. So it was Esau that actually introduced that to y'all. To all the tribes. Esau's the one who really pushed it. Like, yeah, our people was going off before, but when this devil came into power, he's the one who pushed the consumption of pork hard on our people. Like you had in the time of the Maccabees, in the time of the Maccabees, they actually forced their people to break the dietary laws as well and eat that pork. You know, it's punishable by death. You didn't do it. You know, why would Esau do that? That don't matter. If it didn't matter, if it was just some, you know, some, you know, if it was whatever, I think this, it's in this chapter where it talks about that. Hold on. I'm gonna go over this and just go over, go over the other, the other meats that's banned. Basically, this live is about how the law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible, how they make sense. How you know, yeah, how they make sense. Like there's no reason why. Like they're not just there for no reason. They make sense. Each one of them. I think it's this one. I think it was someone that was being forced to eat pork and he refused and he got put to death. Let me get it. Oh yeah. Second Maccabees chapter 7 verse 1. You know, because why would the enemies care that much? It didn't matter that much. It came to pass also that seven brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. Verse 2, but one of them they spake first said thus, why wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Verse 3, then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. Verse 4, which verse forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut off out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, and the rest of the brethren and his mother looking on. The rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Verse 5, now when he was thus maimed all his members, he commanded him being yet alive to be brought to the fire, and to be fried in the pan. As the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus. Verse 6, the Lord Yahawah looketh upon us, and in truth as comfort in us, as Moses in the song which witnessed to their faces declared, saying, and he shall be comforted by his servants. Verse 7, so when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock, and when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? So these devils got to the point where they were forcing Jake to eat pork and to commit other abominations. Verse 8, but he answered in his own language and said, no, wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. Verse 9, and when he was at the last gasp, he said, thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world shall raise us up who have died for his laws and the everlasting life. Verse 9, after him was the third made so like a mocking stock. And when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully. Verse 11, and said courageously, these I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again. Verse 12, insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for he had nothing regarding the pains. Verse 13, now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. Verse 14, so when he was ready to die, he said, thus it is good being put to death by man to look for hope from Yahweh to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. you know, it was a fucking Edomite, and these the wicked are gonna be done away with. Verse 15, afterward they brought the filth also and mangled him. Verse 16, then looked he unto the king and said, thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of Yahawah. Verse 17, but abide a while, and behold his great power, how he will torment thee and thy seed. Thee and thy seed. Verse 18, because all these devils are going to pay for the shit that they did. They're going to pay for the shit that they did during the Maccabean era. You know, called 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. Verse 18, after him also they brought the six, who being ready to die said, be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. Verse 19, but think now not thou takest in hand to strive against our power, that thou shalt escape unpunished. You know, hey, thinking back up to what, you know, Jeremiah 49, where basically Esau was told that he's not going to go unpunished, you know, because of shit like this, force feeding our people pork. Verse 20, but the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable memory, for when she saw her 7 sons slain with the space of one day, she bare it with good courage because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. My whole point is that, you know, why these devils had us, you know, so bent on us breaking his laws. Verse 21, yes, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with the manly stomach, she said unto them. Verse 22, I cannot tell ye how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was I it that formed the members of every one of you. Verse 23, but doubtless the Creator of the world, who formed the generation of man and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. Verse 24, now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, while the youngest was yet alive, and did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would both make him both a rich and happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers. They were so bent on causing us to go off, and that he would also take him from his friends and trust him with affairs. So he was like, hey, forget about all that. You could die this horrible death, you know, for keeping your integrity, or you could sell out and gain the whole, well, you know, gain a lot, right? Yeah, going linking up with that precept, you know, what profit the man if he gain the whole world but lose his soul? Verse 25 though. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. Verse 26, and when he had exhorted her with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. Verse 27, but she bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner, O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and give thee such 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. Verse 28, I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that Yahweh had made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Verse 29, fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again, and mercy with thy brethren. Verse 30, while she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom ye wait for, I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given to our fathers by Moses. Verse 31, and thou that has been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews, thou shall not escape the hands of our power. Verse 32, for we suffer because of our sins. Verse 33, and though the living Adonai Yahweh be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants. You know, verse 34, but thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of power. Verse 35, for thou hast not escaped the judgment of Almighty Power, who seeth all things. Verse 36, our brethren who have now suffered a short pain are dead under Yahweh's judgment of everlasting life, but thou, through the judgment of Yahweh, shalt receive just punishment for thy pride. Verse 37, but I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching Yahweh that he will speedily be merciful unto our nations, and that by torments plagues mayest confess that he alone is the power. Verse 38, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. They was trying to compel us to break our laws, and a lot of people were compelled. A lot of people did. A lot of people folded, just like a lot of people are going to fold in the times to come. Verse 39, then the king, being enraged, handed him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. Verse 40, so this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in Yahweh. Verse 41, last of all, after the son's mother died. Verse 42, let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feast and the extreme torture. Hey, so these devils, man, they were pressed. They were pressed to get there that we follow the laws. They were pressed. They were bound and determined to cause us to go off. Including violate dietary laws. They were bound and determined. You can see why. It really do defiles your temple. And we Israelites we're a special people unto the Most High. So we defile our temple. That's and our body is the temple of the Most High Yahweh. When we defile our temple, so it's real big deal. But it's hey, it's clearly defiling your temple. That's a precept too. That goes with this. Know ye not that ye are the temple. Let me get it. 1 Corinthians 3:6. Know ye not, hold on. Know ye not that ye are the temple of our power, Yahawah, and that the spirit of our power Yahawah dwelleth in you. Verse 17, if any man defile the temple of Yahawah, him shall Yahawah destroy. For the temple of Yahawah is holy, which temple ye are. Come. Yeah, and you defiled in your temple in that way. Yeah, but going back to this article, yeah, these devils brought that over here. And, you know, probably the reason why Northern Kingdom, probably the reason why y'all, it's 1 hour 44. Kala, Kala, y'all, Bashim, y'all, Shai, Bashim, Kakadash. Yeah, probably the reason why you so called Latinos, Northern Kingdom, are fuck with pork so heavy is because, it was forced on you by Spanish speaking Edomites and these Portuguese speaking Edomites. Because you Northern Kingdom, so called Latinos, y'all was enslaved, just like the Southern Kingdom, so called Negro tribes. All the Israelites was enslaved. Y'all was either enslaved on those haciendas or y'all was put on ships and taken to other parts of the Americas. Like there were so-called Native Americans, which are the tribe of Gad, North so-called North American Indians, right? North American natives, that's the tribe of Gad. They were shipped off to the Caribbean, for example. You had other instances as well. You so-called Mexicans all the way down to Argentinians, all the way down the so-called Chileans, Argentinians, natives of Chile and Argentina, and those that descend from them. The rest of the Northern Kingdom are all enslaved. And something that Esau would do, Salakia, something he would do is he would he would feed us unclean foods to eat. As the only thing that we could eat. So you better believe it. Just like hey, even yeah, yeah, yeah. Like one thing, Ishkar, for example, so-called Mexicans eat it is tripas, and I could see that being from that food that the so-called Mexicans was fed, being slaves to the Spanish-speaking Edomites. That's what they would do. Hey, the same with chitlins being fed to Judah, so-called black people, by the slave master. So they was doing the same shit and forbidding us from reading the Bible. They was doing the same shit basically. Yeah. But basically, this article goes into basically different religions, different cultures, or whatever that even so-called Christian denominations that don't eat pork, don't that follow the dietary laws. It mentions the ye wish. but they even have what they call kosher pig or whatever. They have that, which is no such thing. The swine is unclean, and they yeah, that's that they go off. But of course, they get stuff from us as well. They get stuff from us and call themselves Jews and Islam. Islam gets a lot from our people, so their dietary laws would be similar to our dietary laws. Some of y'all know, actually Islam was helped founded by the Catholic Church, which at that time was being run by our people, by so-called black people, because Europe was being run by so-called black people at that time. So our people, was behind that, was behind the creation of Islam. That was our way of getting basically trying to get Ishmael to basically how basically just how Christianity, the religion, was created by Constantine by merging pagan practices with by basically merging them with some stuff in the Bible, right? Basically trying to appease them, right? Trying to get them to basically trying to get everyone under one religion, Christianity. Basically, the Vatican Catholic Church tried to do the same thing in the Middle East with Ishmael. So that's why a lot of them practices, they sound familiar, because a lot of them do come from our people. You know, hey, the dietary laws are very similar to our dietary laws. Hey, the Quran even recognizes the Israelites as the chosen people, while contradicting itself and talking about Ishmael something special. But they recognize the Israelites as the chosen people. Because, hold on, yeah, because our people was really behind it. Muhammad, he was illiterate, not read or write. Like, yeah, A, that turned around and bit us in the ass, because from that came the Moors that were Jakes that converted to Islam. And so our people was divided against each other, and Ishmael helped take our people down because they was a united people now. That came and bit us in the ass. But anyways, they get it from our people. Yeah, there are many other cultures, religions, and cultures that avoid pork as well. Because it's actually known that it's a scavenger. That it's a scavenger animal. Also, it's like eating a vulture. Would you would you, in your right mind, shoot a vulture down and then cook it? Like, nah, bro. Exactly. It's a scavenger animal. Eats dead shit. Dead whatever. And that's very unclean. But yeah, so-called Christian religious denominations that forbid pork consumption include Ethiopian Orthodox, Hebrew roots, which they kind of include us in that, but no, we're like a whole different type because we show you who the real Israelites are and all that, and we show you that the Bible, we show you that the old covenant and the new covenant is for the Israelites, which That's Romans chapter 3. That's for the Israelites. Messianic so-called Jews, because I'm linked in with them. The Rastafarian, that's Benjamites, so-called Jamaicans that come from them. Seventh Day Adventists, they get they basically got some of the truth, but not all of it. And the United Church of God. Avoiding pork for these groups is based on Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14, Isaiah 65, and Isaiah 66. They condemned it, because our people was going off. They even back then going off doing this shit. But it ain't as bad as now. It ain't as bad as now. Whether you choose to eat is a yeah. This guy got it right. You should avoid pork and shellfish. All that goes into what I'm gonna go into next. Going back to the Levitical laws. Oh yeah. Verse 8, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean unto you, so can't touch their carcass, man. You can't do it. They're that unclean. Verse 9, of these shall ye eat that are in the waters, whatsoever had fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. Verse 10, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 11, they shall be even abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Like, Oscar. So nasty. What that means. Verse 12, whatsoever had no fins nor scales in the waters, they shall be that shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 13, and these that are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. Because it goes into that. Okay, so, and all that have not fins and scales in the sea and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, of any living thing which is in the water, he shall be an abomination unto you. So, shellfish, they don't got fins and scales, right? And some of the most common shellfish that get eaten, shrimp, one of the most common. What do shrimp eat? There you go. Shrimp will eat anything. Notice something similar? There's a common theme here. As they grow, they'll also eat algae, dead and living plants, worms, even decaying worms, fish, snails, and even other dead shrimps. Shrimp in a fish aquarium will feed on algae growing in the tank. It also will clear up any leftover bits of fish food. Yeah, shrimp will eat anything, yo. These shrimps eat shit. First of all, if you didn't know, shrimp are scavengers. There you go. Just like a pig. Whether they are in your tank or in the wild, they will spend the majority of the time eating anything that has fallen to the bottom. These shrimps will even try shit to see if it's consumable. Yep. There's a black vein in shrimp poop. Shit. Sometimes when you buy raw shrimp, you will notice a thin black string down its back. Although removing that string is called the veining, it's actually not a vein. In the circulatory sense, it is the shrimp's digestive tract, and its dark color means it's filled with with grit, Slovakia. Shit. Are shrimp like roaches? Hey, hey. The roaches of the sea. So close, so close that they belong. Hey, you heard of tuna being called chicken of the sea, right? And it's clean to eat. These are the roaches of the sea. So close that they belong to a group all their own called pancrustacea. That means that shrimp, lobsters, and other crustaceans are related, very closely related, not only to cockroaches, specifically to cockroaches, but other to all other insects too. So while the relationship is close to shrimp, it's definitely not a cockroach. But it's basically because it's in the water and shit. Uh, or eats poop. What eats shit in a fish tank? Snails? Would you eat a fucking snail? Shrimp, plecos, and or caridoras. They're all part of the cleanup crew to a lot of people. These are the fish that you add to your aquarium that will scout around for uneaten food, plant rest, sometimes even deceased fish. Yeah, they're uh you can't eat shrimp that hasn't been deveined. If you were to eat the shrimp raw, the thing that runs through it could cause harm. Because it's shit. That's the shrimp's intestine, which, like any intestine, has a lot of bacteria, but cooking the shrimp is. Of course, Esau gotta speak his mind. Yeah, why you should never eat shrimp. It has been banned in food production in the U.S. because of severe side effects such as aplastic anemia and leukemia. Hey, leukemia. One exposure to imported shrimp isn't likely to harm you, says study author Todd Anderson. So one exposure, said PhD professor of environmental toxicology. Yeah, you should not fuck with shrimp, dude. Seafood, but seafood includes fishes, like tuna. Yeah, shrimps are asqueroso. The imported shrimp may contain banned salmonella, salakia, I'm speaking, antibiotics, salmonella, and even rat hair. Ugh, that's cool. Shrimp is the most common seafood in the United States, but here's an unsettling fact that might keep you from ordering your next shrimp cocktail. 50% of the shrimp we eat has been imported, but less than 2% of that gets inspected by U.S. regulatory agencies. What's the big deal? Imported shrimp, more than any other seafood, has been found to be contaminated with banned chemicals, pesticides, and even cockroaches. Shit, they are cockroaches of the sea. And then it skirts food safety authorities only to wind up on your plate. The number one reason for all this the dirty conditions in which farm shrimp are raised. They're filthy. And you're noticing a common theme here, right? Banned antibiotics are not the only unwanted side you get with imported shrimp. Previous tests, because there's subject class regulations, whatever, but all that shit is off. Previous tests have found penicillin, an antibiotic that, while legal, could trigger allergic reactions in unsuspected shrimp lovers. Imported farm shrimp comes with a whole bevy of contaminants, antibiotics, residues from chemicals used to clean pins, filth like mouse hair, rat hair, ugh, ugh, shit. Eat at your own risk. And pieces of insects, quote unquote, says Marianne Coufon, director of the fish program at the non-profit Food and Water Watch. And that list don't include salmonella and E. coli, ugh, both of which, and E. coli's in shit, both of which have been detected in imported shrimp. In fact, imported shrimp is so dirty that it accounts for 26 to 35% of all shipments of imported seafood that gets rejected due to filth, according to Food and Water Watch, because it's a naturally dirty animal. The shrimp, it's the cleanup crew, man. It's the janitor. If the janitor at your school, for example, or wherever you work in a store, you fucking janitor that works there, right? You work in a big department store, like you work at a Walmart or some shit, and you're gonna have a janitor, right? It's the janitor, right? Cleanup crew. If the janitor was to take the shit that he cleaned from the floors, you know, take the shit that's in the vacuums and in the mop buckets that he cleans from the floors, and also the trash because they take the trash out. Ugh, this grossed me out even thinking about it. And he was to make you a dish from all that. Would you fucking eat that shit? Shit, think of it in that way. That's basically what you're doing when you're eating a shrimp, crab, lobster, uh, clam, crawfish. All these shellfish. They have shells on their backs because they at the bottom of the sea, and it's a lot of pressure from the top. And because animals can sweep down, fucking get their ass for not, but that little shell make it tough for them to do it. They're come on, come on. Hey, you could look at it that way or look at it in this way. Would you eat a fucking roach or a fly? Ugh. Shit, gross thinking about a fucking gnat. Shit, I get Oscar just thinking about it. Just think of that the same way, because it is the same shit that you're doing. And you get Oscar from even thinking of eating shrimp. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Shrimp packing plants are filthy too. No shit. A report published in the November 2012 issue of Bloomberg magazine revealed some truly disgusting facts about the conditions in which shrimp are packaged and shipped. At one particular facility in Vietnam, the magazine's reporters found processing plant floors littered with garbage, flies buzzing around. Ugh. Not only sea flies, but land flies. Ugh. And shrimp that wasn't being stored at proper temperatures. The shrimp itself was packed in ice made from local tap water, which public health authorities warned should be boiled before using due to microbial contamination, potentially exposing the shrimp and eaters to more bacterial contamination. They eat all that shit up. According to Bloomberg, it's like putting a sponge full of that shit in your mouth. Nasty. Nasty and unhealthy. According to Bloomberg, FDA inspectors have rejected 1,380 loads of seafood from Vietnam since 2007 for filth and salmonella, including 81 from the plant the reporters visited. What is that? They're full of cancer-causing chemicals, just like the pig. According to a 2011 Government Accountability Office report, the Food and Drug Administration (FDA) tested just 0.1% of imported, just 0.1% of imported seafood for chemical residues. I mean, Esau is just trying to poison you too. You know, it's already bad for you. Esau will let shit like that slide too. Just so you get fucked up. That's how much of a that's how much of a devil he is. Here's what the agency missed in that untested 99.9% ban on antibiotics that have the potential to cause cancer. Recently, ABC News recruited scientists from Texas Tech University's Institute of Environmental and Human Health to test 30 samples of shrimp purchased from grocery stores for the presence of three classes of antibiotics. Two samples of farm raised as opposed to wild shrimp from India and Thailand tested positive for nitrofuranzone, an antibiotic that's a known carcinogen, at levels 28 and 29 times higher than those allowed by the FDA. Another antibiotic, chloramphenicol, was detected at levels 150 times the legal limit. It's been banned in food production in the U.S. because of possible severe side effects such as aplastic edema and leukemia. Shit could fuck you up. One exposure to imported shrimp isn't likely to harm you, says author Todd Anderson, PhD professor of environmental toxicology. It's the potential for chronic exposure that we're most concerned about. Yeah. Oh, they're making a lot of the that climate change is a lot of bullshit. But it do yeah, it'll do damage to the environment in that way because they gotta clear out them forests. They do damage it. Just that climate change, a lot of it is propaganda. With that lack of oxygen, do contribute to it. The mangrove forest absorb and trap more. Okay, because they change the carbon dioxide into the oxygen. Yeah, and they're making the rest of the seafood menu a lot smaller. Oh yeah, yeah. These mangrove forests do more than also because hold on, I'll get into it later on. Do more than just trap carbon dioxide. They provide vital habitats for other commercial seafood species that are important to local economies, including snapper, wild teeth, tilapia, sea bass. Oysters and crabs dirty as fuck too. They eat shit. They eat shit and other waste. Just they're clean and cool as well. According to Food and Water Watch, roughly 70% of commercially valuable seafood species in Ecuador, Honduras, and Mexico, and 33% in Southeast Asia are dependent on mangrove forests, and for each acre destroyed, 675 pounds of commercial fish are lost. Also, corrects it that you're eating slacking. That corrects it that you're eating, after that BP oil spill. That's in there. That's in there shit. Especially in shrimp and other members of the cleanup crew. I mean, come on. All these. Hey, so yeah, just like with pigs, man. Shrimp is also bad for you. Slack. Why? Oh, a lot of people are allergic to shellfish. I wonder why. Yeah. Can you suddenly become allergic to shellfish allergy can occur anytime in life. Adults and young adults may suddenly develop a shellfish allergy. It can appear at any age. And what to avoid? You avoid all this shit. Avoid foods that contain shellfish, any of these ingredients. Barnacle, crab, crawfish, crawdad, crayfish, whatever, man. Some shit. Krill, lobster, prawns, and shrimp. These shellfish allergies go worse. Shellfish get worse. Shellfish allergy can cause a severe vat reaction called anaphylaxis, even if a previous reaction was mild. Anaphylaxis might start with some of the same symptoms as a less severe reaction, but can quickly get worse. The person may have trouble breathing or pass out. Yeah, being allergic to shellfish, dude. Oh, shellfish allergy and COVID vaccine. You know why? Because it has crab blood in it, and the CVID 1984. Because it has that in there. That's why. Which is why you don't get the jab, man. Just don't get the jab. There's a reason for this. They, there's a reason. There's a reason why there's a connection there between shellfish allergies and the jab. Fear of catching the highly contagious and deadly, whatever. The deadly CVID 1984. The INO Bower Sox support Pierce wants to get jabbed, but the 73-year-old woman faces a medical dilemma. Her severe seafood allergy, I mean shellfish, has forced doctors to turn her away. "Quote unquote, now what am I gonna do?" Bowers said, "Quote unquote, I was upset. I was quite upset." She and her husband Ross got a second opinion. Yeah. They said they would not give her the shot. Roscoe Bowersock said her heart doctor suggested against the jab because it could be fatal. It has that blood in it, yo. It has a horseshoe crab blood. Fuck. Yeah, most of well, not all the people who developed anaphylaxis had a history of allergies to a variety of things: nuts, shellfish, some drugs, and wasps, and several had experienced anaphylaxis. Most had developed a reaction within 15 minutes of having been jabbed. No, because it has, hey, you're not supposed to put that shit in your body. And some bodies, some people got, some people got, they're more sensitive to shit that's toxic. They're more sensitive to it than others. This really is a reaction to toxins. Yeah, there was a horseshoe crab blood in The yep. Yep. That's why. Yep. Federal law mandates. Look, these damn devils. Federal law mandates that any medical device that is inserted or injected into the human body must pass the LAL test for examination. That makes horseshoe crab blood vital for these fucking devils because you're not supposed to consume blood either for ensuring the new COVID-19 1884 vaccinations are free of potentially deadly toxins. Yep. Yep. There you go. There you go. Your reason for shellfish allergy reactions. Yep. Yep. Come on, man. I'm gonna get something else though. Shellfish poisoning. Shellfish poisoning is a general term used to indicate poisoning that occurs when shellfish, mainly oysters, clams, scallops, or mussels, are eaten by humans. Shellfish are usually associated with saltwater habitats, but some species inhabit fresh water. Both freshwater and saltwater shellfish may cause poisoning. I wonder why. I wonder why that is. How long does shellfish poisoning last? Diuretic shellfish poisoning occurs worldwide, especially around the Atlantic coast of northern Europe and in the Mediterranean. Hold on, I'm gonna be back. Shalom, shalom, I'm back. Alright, going into this shellfish poisoning. I had to take care of some. Yeah, yeah, both freshwater and saltwater shellfish may cause poisoning. Neurotoxic shellfish poisoning. Shit ain't no joke. How long does shellfish poisoning last? Diuretic shellfish poisoning (DSP) occurs worldwide, especially around the Atlantic coast of northern Europe and in the Mediterranean. Symptoms appear within 2 hours of shellfish consumption and include chills, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and an abominable pain that usually resolve within 3 days. Shit. Fuck. It'll fuck you up, man. After eating contaminated clamps or mussels, you'll most likely experience nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. These symptoms will be followed soon after by strange sensations that may include numbness or tingling in your mouth, fuck, headache, dizziness, and hot and cold temperature reversal. Shit'll fuck you up, bruh. Uh, okay, neurotoxic. See, yeah, so many risks associated with consuming these abominable creatures, right? That you shouldn't want to fuck with. Neurotoxic shellfish poisoning is caused by the consumption of molluscan shellfish, ex- e.g., clams, oysters, coquinas, mussels, and other filter feeders, combined with brevetoxins, which are produced by male dinoflagellate shit called Carenia brevis. How long after eating bad prawns I will get sick? Hey, shit can jack you up. Neurotoxin. Yeah, it affects your mind too. That's what that means. NSP, man. Yeah. Uh okay. Shellfish poisoning is a general term used to indicate poisoning that occurs when shellfish, mainly oysters mainly oysters, clams, scallops, or mussels, are eaten by humans. Shellfish are usually associated with because the symptoms of shellfish poisoning are somewhat similar, and patients did not know exactly what type of shellfish they ate. The tendency of the medical community was to simply lump the symptoms together and diagnose shellfish poisoning for any shellfish related problems. Hey, well, there's levels to this shit. However, more recent clinical studies have separated the group of shellfish poisonings into four groups. One, amnesic shellfish poisoning. Two, diarrheal shellfish poisoning, DSP. Three, neurotoxic shellfish poisoning, NSP. And four, paralytic paralytic shellfish poisoning, PSP, chicken paralyzing. These groups are based on the specific toxins or chemicals that poison humans. They cause specific and non-specific symptoms. These toxins can accumulate in many different types of shellfish. See above because the shellfish are filter feeders and consume marine diatoms and algae that may contain the chemicals. So based on what they eat, right? If shellfish consume high levels of the food that produce the poisons, the shellfish then contain high levels of poison that can be absorbed by humans when they eat the shellfish. In addition, shellfish may concentrate other things such as bacterial and viral pathogens while filter feeding and transfer these pathogens to people when the shellfish are eaten. These problems are discussed in other articles, for example, vibrio infections. The goal of this article is to acquaint the reader with shellfish poisonings. What causes shellfish poisoning? The four major categories of shellfish poisoning are based off on the symptoms produced and the specific poisons or pathogens that cause shellfish poisoning. The symptoms appear rapidly, usually within about 30 minutes of eating the poison-containing shellfish. The table below summarizes the symptoms and the poisons that cause them. Some researchers consider asparacid, see below, a separate type because the symptoms are more serious, others do not. In addition, several textbooks and other articles group all quote unquote fish intoxicant Salak shellfish toxins together, so this table represents one organized view of only shellfish poisons. So amnesty, permanent short-term memory loss, because amnesia means from a short, loss of memory. That goes into. But hey, permanent short-term memory loss, shit can really fuck you up. Brain damage, death, cause domoic acid, diarrhea, just like the name, diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, oxalic acid, as azospiracid, you know, neurotoxic, like your mind, slurred speech, nausea and vomiting, caused by what? Breathe toxins, paralytic, paresthesias, condition loss, speech, speech defects, nausea, vomiting, and death caused by what? Saxitoxin, neosax, ceton, and goniotoxin I2 IV, 1 to 4. Yeah, so all this shit you forget from eating fucking shellfish. Amnestic and paralytic types of poisoning are the most serious types as they can. In a few individuals cause death. Death from diarrhea or not neurotoxic poisoning is rarely if ever observed. Okay, whatever Esau. But but the possibility is there. You're playing Russian roulette. You're playing Russian roulette, but with shellfish. What is the treatment for shellfish poisoning? There is no specific treatment for shellfish poisoning. However, some healthcare professionals may induce vomiting or use a stomach pulp to remove food if the patient is seen within 3 hours of ingesting the shellfish. These actions may reduce the amount of poison that is absorbed through the gastrointestinal tract. In addition, patients are often given IV fluids as they may become dehydrated from vomiting. So your body is trying to get rid of that shit as fast as possible. So it's emptying your whole stomach. It's yeah, so it's taking all them fluids out, and that shit can fuck you up. Why would you? Knowing all this, why would you want to fuck with that? Damn. Oh yeah, my mouse was up there. The use of oral charcoal may be used in some patients that are seen early after ingestion of large amounts of food likely containing large amounts of shellfish poison. Some healthcare officials advise the stomach should be pumped to remove foods before charcoal is administered. Activated charcoal, right? Like that. Do some to it. Oral charcoal. What are the risks of shellfish poisoning? A major risk factor for shellfish poisoning is eating shellfish that has recently been associated with "red tide", a situation where plankton grows so rapidly its massive numbers of organisms turn the water a reddish hue. Although many health professionals suggest that people should not eat uncooked shellfish, for example, raw oysters, In San Antonio, they have an event called the Oyster Bake, where they fucking do that shit. The oyster bake, and not cook too good if any, not cook too good if any. Shit, Russian roulette right there, shellfish roulette, to prevent exposure to bacterial and viral diseases. Cooking does not destroy the poisons in contaminated shellfish. There are no antidotes for these shellfish poisons. Emphasis on that. There are no antidotes for these shellfish poisons. Meaning it can really fuck you up. And once you get fucked up, you're fucked. Can you die from shellfish poison? They say in general, most outcomes after symptoms subside are good because people don't eat that much shellfish. Y'all eat pork more. However, the outcomes worsen according to the amount and type of poison ingested. So based on how much poison you consume, like no shit, of course. Amnestic and paralytic poisons, when ingested in large amounts, may cause permanent damage to the nervous system or even death. Yeah. The more you play Russian roulette, the higher the risk it is, of you losing your life. So the same shit with shellfish roulette. Yeah. I'm gonna show y'all something else. Hey, hey, it's a good enough case for not eating these abominable foods already. But let me show y'all something else. Is shrimp really roaches? See, people know, even though they know there's something. They know that there's a correlation there. This meme right here show you that. See, the sea, what it looks like. The roach. Well, land is what a roach looks like. And the sea is what a roach looks like. See, there's a correlation. Hey, the antenna on the front. The legs with. It even got some legs here. And then what it uses to move around in the sea, swim, shit. Scorpion. The fuck is this? Basically the same shit. A spider. A fucking crab. Basically the same shit. There's a lobster. There's a lobster and this is a fucking scorpion. Would you eat a fucking scorpion or would you feed your child one? There's a scripture actually that mentions that. Ye being evil. If ye being evil. Shows you there too. But I thought the laws was done away with. Matthew 7 and 11. If ye then being evil, okay, let me read the verses before. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he give him a serpent? Okay, a serpent. You get the serpent. A serpent is also an unclean beast. People won't eat a roach. People won't eat a roach. Food a roach touches because they are dirty. But will eat their cousins and call it clean eating. Yep, this is a bug on land, and this is a bug underwater. Shrimp, lobster, clams, crabs, and oysters are not food. They're bugs, underwater bugs, bottom feeders, and scavengers, not food. Yep, yep. Abomination, abomination, abomination. All are related, none are food. Yep. Shellfish are they're insects, bro. They're unclean insects. They're unclean insects. All these are unclean. You eat a roach. You get the picture, You get the picture. You know, of course, in land, on land they would be darker because in land you're more exposed to the sun. You know, so they would have that. You know, to adapt to the sun and shit. And, you know, it's also the well, I should say also the land soil is darker. You know, and all that probably has something to do with it, and the type of shit that these on the left eat versus these on the right. But yeah, man, they a cleanup crew. You know. Yeah, if the cleanup crew serve you shit that they was cleaning up, then would you eat that shit? What the fuck? Ugh, oh shit! That look like a fucking. That look like on these motherfuckers like huge. Oh, asshole. Lobster is gross. See, shows you there too. Lobster used to be the cockroach of the sea. You could fucking see why. Oh, Oscar. Oh, Oscar, man. Oscar. That would be considered a shellfish. Fucking Oscar, man. That's a whole article. Lobster used to be the cockroach of the sea and only fed the servants and cats. Shit. Oof. Yeah, Oscar. When someone says lobster, some words might come to mind are delicacy, fancy, luxurious, and most dismally market priced. However, it wasn't always this way. Nah, bruh. What the hell? Let's do that. However, it wasn't always this way. Formerly regarded as quote unquote the cockroach of the sea and fed the servants, migrants, and even people's cats. Lobster was a lacking stock of seafood, regarded as a dish fit only for the poor. Even having lobster shells in your house was looked upon as a sign of poverty. Yet today lobster is seen as the poshest of the posh, the cousin of caviar. So how the hell did that happen? Yo. You know, how did that happen? How did it go from being basically food for the peasants and shit? You know, which was these Edomites. These Edomites were peasants before we was. You know, and Jake was ruling. So it makes sense, you know. They would be the ones eating that shit, and Jake would be eating the good food, which is called poor people food today. Ass backwards, everything, because the rich sit in low places. Let me get that. Rich sits in low places, because we are the true rich. These elites, these devils, they're so-called elites, by the way. These devils, they're the poor. They're the actual they're the actual poor. They deserve to be, you know, below where we're at actually. Ecclesiastes 10:6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. Eating lobster is set in great dignity. It's considered a delicacy. It's an example of that. You know, the rich sit in low place. You know, our people oppressed in the hoods, barrios, ghettos, and you know wherever else we're being oppressed. You know, which is basically the same shit as that. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. God. Yep. shows you that too. Yeah, industrialization. Esau was pushing that industrialization. Starts with industrialization when the railways began to expand across America. Transportation managers realized that no one apart from people who lived on the coast knew what lobster was. Trains, oh shit. Trains could serve it to inland, so deception. Trains could serve it to inland passengers as if it were a rare exotic island. Because it's not a land cockroach, it's a sea cockroach. This plan seemed to work as people started demanding lobsters beyond the railways, and it didn't hurt that around this time in the late 1800s, chefs discovered lobsters tasted much better when cooked live. Restaurants too got the memo. Then in World War II, lobsters weren't rationed like other foods, and so people of all classes began to eat it. That's how Esau pushed it and quote unquote discover its deliciousness. Ugh, which probably ain't even that delicious. I ain't even tasted that shit. I a seafood that I did try, I tried it, didn't fuck with it. Several times. I didn't fuck with it. You know that crab meat. I tried that once, didn't fuck with it. I tried that shrimp shit, whatever, scallops, whatever. Didn't fuck with it. Just my body did not agree with it. My tongue did not agree with it. It just didn't fuck with it. That was probably the most high Yahawah, whatever caused it that to happen, probably the most high Yahawah causing me, like basically stopping me from like developing a taste for it. May have even put it in my spirit, who knows? But hey, makes sense, it's bad for you. I didn't know it was going off, but they kept me from going off when it came to that. Kala Yahweh Shem Shai. Yeah, but yeah, that's the story of lobster, man. Why nowadays people fuck with it so much? Because because Esau deceived our people, man. Esau was like Esau made it look like a rare delicacy when it really was the roach of the sea. And these devils, by taking all the shellfish out the sea, these devils are fucking are causing the sea to be even more dirty because they're the cleanup crew. Fucking devil. That's why you gotta go. They're causing the sea to be way more dirtier than it should be, and they're causing the sea. They're causing the sea and the land too, because the animals such as the pigs should be out there. They're the cleanup crew and shit. So the pig, the land, much less the sea. Because the sea, it's not inhabited by people like land is inhabited by people, of course. So the sea is being you're taking the cleanup crew out of the sea, causing it to be even more polluted. Yeah, lobster didn't change over time. It's the same animal. Uh, Yeah, by the 1950s, lobster established itself as a bona fide luxury food item. Yep, it was fed to prisoners and apprentices and was used as Fish bait. Bro. There's even an actual. I bet they're considered these heathens, and of course speckled birds is among them, even eating abominations. Ugh. That shit would be considered like a shellfish or a mollusk or some crustacean, whatever, some type. Qué asco. Ugh. They're related. They're actually related. Roaches and shrimp and roaches. Isn't even yeah, all these yeah insects, bro. Probably find an insect that you could compare it to. Ugh. They look like insects too. They look like unclean insects. So yeah, man, the dietary laws, they are they are there for a reason. Mm, they're there for a reason, man. Ugh. Hmm. I get Oscar just talking about that. Yeah. Why you shouldn't eat that shit? Hold on. Get back to it. And of course, all this, the rest of the laws, statutes, and commandments. Why you shouldn't eat an actual roach, of course. Fucking yeah, snake. You know, but yeah, a lot of these other ones are obvious. But yeah, let me that's for the dietary laws. Why you should keep the dietary laws. You also have what is it? The rest of the laws, man. I have to go over all of them. The rest of the laws. Eh, hold on. Get let me get what's a good example? Sluggy. That's an example. That's a good example of how the law, statutes, and commandments. They're they're key. And they make sense. They make sense. They make sense. Let me might wrap it up. Let me think. hold on. All right, so I want to give. Damn. Hold on. All right, so I want to give all praise. All right, so I want to give all praise to Yahawah Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim out there spreading his truth like wildfire. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who look like the other nations, but their spirit bears witness that they're the children of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And shalom to the real sisters out there. Hope this live was edifying. Stay strong to the end. Stay strong to the end. And, because hey, the elect, they're gonna stay strong until the end. And so that's how you're gonna know you're gonna cause you stay strong to the end, you endure to the end. Matthew 24:13, he that endure to the end, the same shall be saved. All right. So stay strong, times is coming, there's gonna be some trying times. Hold on. Stay strong, stay strong. Hold on. Stay strong, shalom. And Esau, you're going down. Don't matter how much you censor our videos, you're still going down. Might as well get used to it. But we know you devils are gonna, y'all gonna go down kicking and screaming. So it is what it is. But yeah, shalom. Stay strong, Esau. You're through, and Jacob, we got next. We got next. These devils never gonna be in power again. These devils they're gonna go in slavery, and then they're gonna go in slavery. 1,000 years hardcore slavery. Get it way worse than us. Get it way worse than us. Reward unto her double. Bible says she's gonna be rewarded double. Reward unto her double. The cup that she has filled to the double. Locking. My affliction. The cup that she filled to a double. Exactly what's gonna happen. Really, yeah. 2,000 times, because the Most High Yahweh chasten our enemies on 2,000 or 1,000 times more. So that's in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, I believe. Or chapter 16, could be chapter 16. Ecclesiastes chapter 16, verse 22, I think is where it's at. But yeah, that's patience and faith for the saints. So shalom and stay strong and Yashara forever.